All right, if you look at quadrilateral, so we're looking at anything that has 4 sides. Okay. We can find several subcategories of quadrilateral. One is if you take both pair of opposite sides and make sure they are parallel to each other, you have what's called a parallelogram. Okay, so again, it probably looks somewhat like this. Okay, a parallelogram is going to have both pair of opposite sides are parallel to each other. The symbol for parallel is just 2 vertical bars. Okay, and if you mark parallelism on a figure, you use arrowheads facing in the same direction to show that those lines are parallel to each other. Okay, so this figure that encloses the parallelogram word is a parallelogram. Both pair of opposite sides are parallel to each other. And you can also have a figure that has only one pair of opposite sides parallel. That's called a trapezoid. Okay, so if you look at a trapezoid, in this particular case, only one pair of sides are parallel. And if we take parallelograms and we classify them even further, we can classify them into a couple different categories, again based on some other specific conditions. The first is figures that are rectangles and figures that are called a rhombus. The plural of that is rhombi, if you hear me refer to it. Okay, but a rectangle is designated by being a parallelogram with 4 equal angles. Okay, so a rectangle is basically an equiangular parallelogram. Okay, all 4 angles are right angles. Okay, a rhombus, on the other hand, is 4 equal sides. Okay, so if you have a figure in which all 4 sides are equal to each other, you're looking at an equilateral parallelogram. Okay, or 4 equal sides. And now, if we were to combine this and take a parallelogram that was both a rectangle and a rhombus, what shape are we looking at? Square. Okay, and so when you look at a square, it's both a rhombus and a rectangle. Therefore, it is a regular parallelogram. So it is 4 equal sides, 4 equal angles. Okay, so in looking at these, again, when it comes down to some questions that you might see, make sure you're aware of kind of the hierarchical positioning of these. So anything that is a square also is considered everything else that kind of builds up from that or branches up from that on this flowchart. Okay, so if Is it true that a square is a rhombus? Is it a rectangle? Is it a parallelogram? Is it a quadrilateral? We can even extend this further. Is it a polygon? Is it a figure? Yeah, so it fits everything that is raised up there. Now, is it a trapezoid? No, never. Hey, what if I say sometimes, always, or never true? A rhombus is a square. Okay. So if you have a rhombus, so if you have a parallelogram with 4 equal sides, can that be a square? Yeah. Is it necessarily a square? No. So a rhombus sometimes is a square. What if I say a rectangle is a parallelogram? Sometimes, always, or never. It's funny how my silence sometimes makes you rethink your answers, but you guys were right who said it first, always. Okay, a rectangle is always a parallelogram. Again, it falls underneath that classification, therefore it's always going to be one of these. Okay. What about a trapezoid is a parallelogram? Sometimes, always, or never? Never. They're completely separate, and they're on kind of different branches. Again, be prepared for answering questions like that regarding those terms.